Hello and welcome back to We Should Be Writing, and it's only been about 5 years, so who's counting? For those of you who might remember, this used to be a bit of a mad waffle between myself, Amanda Radley and Emma Sterner Radley, but as you can see from the screen in front of you, that is no longer the case. I have dragged kicking and screaming mostly Ali and Leah to join me on this madness, and I'm going to pass them over to you and let you guys say who you are, and then we'll carry on our little waffle. So Ali, do you want to go first?
Yeah, hi, my name is Alyson Root. I am a Sapphic fiction author. I write full-time. That is my full-time job, and I'm pretty fortunate to be able to do it. I won't say I got dragged into this kicking and screaming. I think I was quite up for it, to be honest with you. Me and Claire have a nice little bit of banter, and I'm excited to do the podcast. Leah's not, but so really pretty simple. I write, I read, and that's about it, really. Yeah.
That's all we needed to know. Go on, Leah, off you go.
Oh, is it my turn? Okay. My name's Leah Goodwin. I started a Bookstagram account back in August just for a bit of a laugh and to mainly stalk a few authors, namely Claire. Yeah, and it's kind of taken off from there, really, and I've enjoyed it. Got to meet quite a few readers, which is really nice because they're all trying to start their own accounts up as well. And then there's new authors coming through that I've had the chance to just talk to and just basically share any books that I've really enjoyed. And meet some more of the community, which has been great.
Excellent.
That's about it, really.
Thank you. And that's really what it's all about, isn't it? It's just going to be, it's just going to be us three just waffling on about books and whatever takes
things we should be doing when we're not writing.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I don't know about you, Ali, but I definitely should be writing today.
90% of my life is procrastination.
Writing and editing. I am editing as well. So yeah. So what are you working on?
Right now, I am about 2 chapters away from finishing a novella. So it's off the back of my first 3 books, the French Connection series. So I decided to get some of the secondary characters and give them a bit of a happy ever after. Yeah. So I'm just about almost finished that. And then I've got a new writing progress open as well, and that's for next year. So I'm just trying to get this novella done, to be honest.
You're just so organised. I'm always impressed with how far ahead you are on books, because I'm just like scrabbling away to finish off what's coming out in April. And you're like, yeah, I'm on next year's. It's like,
to be fair, the novella is going to be for July. The novella is going to be for July, so I've left that a little bit longer than usual. But yeah, no, I have to just have my shit done, otherwise it stresses me out.
Yeah, I think I do need to get more focused on that. I totally need to get more focused. I used to be able to write like 3-4 books on the trot at the same time, just juggle between them. And then I kind of had this idea of like, no, just focus on the one, get the one done, because you've got to actually earn a living now to pay your bills. Yeah. And then I kind of got stuck in this route of where I just work on that one for 4 months, get it finished, get it out and on to the next one. And it's just like a rolling kind of conveyor belt for me. But I would prefer to be, up here a little bit more like, okay, I can just chill. I've got until next year. Do you know what I mean? That would
I mean, mine. I didn't plan to be a year ahead when I first started writing. I just wanted to get a book out. To be honest, that was my main goal. And the thing was that when I wrote my first book, the idea for the second came straight away. So I just started writing, and same with the third. So by the time I knew it, I'd got 1 book published and then 2 more books written because they come really quickly. Yeah. And it's off the back of that, really. Last year, I took about 4 or 5 months off writing because of medical reasons, and I'm really glad that I'd accrued so many books already. So I didn't have to worry. And after that, I thought, this is a good idea for me. I need to be able to have books in advance so I don't stress about life, because life happens,
Yeah, and exactly. And I think that's one of the main reasons for doing it, because, like you say, if I was suddenly taken ill now, hang on, touch wood. I would be like having to dip in the very small meager savings I've got to get me through that period. It would be a struggle. So yeah, I think it is definitely the way forward. I'm going to practice it. I'm going to try harder. We'll see. What are you reading, Leah? What are you?
Actually, I've only just started this one. After Love.
After Love.
Oh, right. Yes, I saw that earlier on Facebook, and I did wonder about it.
Yeah, I'm only a couple of chapters in, but so far I like the way it's written, so that works.
Yeah,
it flows really well.
You like that.
Is it Sapphic?
Yes. Well, I hope so.
We're not doing anything on Sapphic. We'd have to ban her from being on here. She starts reading that muck. No, clear off. We'll be auditioning for a new reviewer.
Yeah, I'm off now. This is done with. I'm finished. We're off.
Saying that, Claire, you were on Facebook the other day saying that you might have to start writing straight to earn a living.
I might have to. Like, honestly, it's. Yesterday I earned like 40 quid.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and you're just like, I can't live on that. Like, no one.
I started a straight book before Christmas.
Not horror.
I wrote 4 chapters. And I felt my soul dying with every single word I was writing. And I was like, no, that's it. It's not happening. It's going to be gay.
I was thinking I could just cheat and I could just take my books, change all the names, and then re-edit the sex scenes and just whack it back out there and give the straight world some Sapphic under like subconscious Sapphic.
On in there.
And all these women will be reading it going, these men are so lovely. And I'll be like, yes, because they're women.
Yes, you're reading Butch.
I just think I could get away with it. I'll give it a go. But yeah, no, fingers crossed.
I would just like to point out I did help towards your £40 yesterday.
Did you? Oh, thanks.
Because I bought Scarlet. I realised I don't have that. I have Scarlet Fever, obviously, but I don't have Scarlet. So that came in the post yesterday. So there you go. That's your
well, thank you very much.
My contribution towards you.
My food shopping bill this week. I can eat. I can eat with the £3.50 I've earned from that.
All right. Right. Now I feel like crap.
No, it's not you.
Let's buy some more.
It's Amazon publishers. But that's just
I know.
Isn't it? It costs money to print, and the printing costs are going up. So I'm trying not to put my book prices up, but at some point it probably is going to get to that.
I put mine up recently to be fair, to be in line with a lot of the American authors.
Yeah, it's a struggle. It's one of those things I'm kind of like, I don't have huge paperback sales anyway, so I don't really worry about it. Do you know what I mean? It's only if I go to an event that people will really want to buy a paperback. And actually from in person, you make a lot more money from it because you're not having to pay, all the shipping costs and the other bits and pieces that Amazon charge you for. So I don't really think much about my paperback stuff. I've no idea if I sold a hardback of Layla and Camille yet. I don't know. I've not looked. But I highly doubt it because, again, hardbacks then even more money. Do you know what I mean? I just don't. My readership is very much KU and very much on ebooks.
Yeah, same.
So I try and keep those prices reasonably competitive.
To be honest with you, I started doing paperbacks just because I like to collect them and put them on my bookshelf at home.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the only person that has one. I'd be quite happy about it.
It's literally for my own ego to look and go, I did.
Yeah, and you know what, though? I kind of got about 12 books in, and then even I stopped doing it. I was like, I haven't got the space. I don't have the space. I don't want to find them. I don't want to buy a bookcase. I don't want one. It's like, no. So I just
that's what I had to start doing. So I'd read them on Kindle or whatever. And then if I really, really liked a book, then I buy the physical copy of it.
Yeah.
Because if Kindle disappears at any point, at least I've got the ones that I actually really like and I can go back to them. We don't have the room for them otherwise.
No, exactly. It's just I've got a tiny little flat. I don't have space. So when I eventually win the lottery or something and can buy a big house and have an extra room, I'll have a bloody library. But do you know what I mean? Until then,
the dream.
I'm very much like I've got about 5 or 6 books that have been signed by people, and that's pretty much it. And then there's like half a dozen of mine on a shelf, and I kind of.
Do you sign your own?
No.
Not that not your ego.
Signing so that when I die, whoever gets all my crap can go. At least it's signed. That's the kind of things I think about. But yeah, I've lost all track of where we were going. That's probably what the whole point of this was, isn't it? But yeah, so you are reading this book and you haven't told us what it's about.
Oh, well,
we went sidetracked into me.
What's it called? I'm going to note it down.
Right, it's called After Love. So it's this one.
Yeah.
And from what I can gather from the back,
yeah,
I'm guessing one of the characters dies, but she comes back as a reaper.
Cool.
And she's also, but she can't get over her first love. She's only 16, so I'm a little bit, don't really know where it's going to go yet, or whether I'm going to be traumatized or not. So,
is it classed as young adult?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I'm a very contemporary romance type of person. I don't really get the whole, I don't know, fantasy. Is it? I don't know, thriller. What's
paranormal?
What is this? I don't.
Yeah, I think I tend to be a mood reader more than anything.
Yeah.
And the cover appealed to me in the bookshop the other day. So I was like, do you know what? Everybody's been going on about it lately. Yeah. I'll give it a try and just see.
Yeah.
But so far, I'm enjoying it. It's like I said, the writing of it and the flow really works well. But we'll just have to wait and see because, like I said, I'm not that far into it at the minute.
Yeah, I think that's the sort of book I would watch as a film. Like if that was a film, I'd be like, I'm all over it. But I just can't get into reading that kind of story. I don't know why.
So when I read, it becomes like a film. It's like I can see it played out step by step. But
see, I don't get that. I don't get that imaginary images in my head like that. So for me, if it's visually in front of me, then I'm like, oh, that's exciting.
And that's the thing with like any fantasy books. It's very visually descriptive, and you. I'm like Leah. I build a world in my head. And it's like a movie.
The only time sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying I enjoy fantasy books, paranormal.
Yeah.
The only time I struggle is when it's pronouncing like off-world names that you're like, can't we just call it Birmingham or something?
Just call it Birmingham.
In my head, that's where we are.
I do that with characters' names that I can't pronounce. I end up just calling them a completely different name.
Yeah, I just make them up. But I'm a bit like that because I can't imagine people. So even when I'm reading a book, it wouldn't matter to me how well you've described that person. All I will pick up on is like what colour hair and that sort of thing. And then I will have to visualise somebody I already know that looks like that. So whether it's a film star, Joan down the shop, whatever it is that comes to my mind. And then that's the person that I will visualise for that person in the book.
Doesn't it make it awkward then when you get to sex scenes?
When it's Joan down the road from the shop, a little bit.
Picking up your newspaper.
I tend to stick
thinking about you earlier.
I tend to stick with like people off the telly. It makes it a little bit easier. Hannah Waddingham's been in quite a few. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that. It's kind of like sometimes I quite like it, but then other times I'm like, oh, I wish I could like just picture who you're picturing. But it is.
But it's like
differently.
When you listen to the Audible after you've read the book, quite often I'll start playing and I'll be like, oh, that's not what they sound like to me. That's too high pitched. It needs to be a little bit lower, and it takes me a while to get into those.
Yes.
That's why I don't listen to audiobooks.
Yeah. I've kind of got used to them now. I like having them on in the car, like driving backwards and forwards to work. I can do it that way. But the first couple that I listened to, I was like, what the hell is this? This is that's too high pitched. That doesn't work for me. Yeah. Or I don't know, just a little bit. Sometimes the facts sound a little bit weak and pathetic, and I'm like, no, she's much stronger than that.
Yeah. I think for me, I suppose because I don't read the book necessarily, because I don't really read at all at the moment. I'm just too busy writing stuff, and I don't want to take someone else's work into mine, so I just don't read.
Yeah.
But sometimes I will put like I'll put an audiobook on, but it's generally like a crime murder thing. So I've got no clue what my imagination would have thought that their voices were. So I can kind of go with it. But when it's my book and I'm doing the auditions for it, I'm like, sometimes they come back and I'm like, ooh, no, Why would you think
send them my way?
Voice? Yeah.
Send them to me, and I'll be like, no, Claire, that don't work. That's not.
And it was really weird because obviously when I put Scarlet Fever for audition, and I picked the narrator and she'd done, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's them, that's the voices, I love it. But then when she recorded it, she changed the voice of Claudia, and I was like, what's happened here? Like, what's happened? She's gone from hot, sexy 50 MILF to 75-year-old woman down the library helping Miss Marple. I was like, what's going on? I had to email her, and I was like, what's happened? I don't know what's happened. I don't like it. And she was brilliant. She changed it all. She was like, oh, I don't know why I did that kind of thing. But yeah, I was just like, what's going on? It's gone out like that. I don't think I would have had any good reviews. I think everyone would have come back going, is that what Claudia sounds like?
It's difficult to like be honest and say, oh no, you've done that completely wrong.
You have to be a bit diplomatic, didn't you? You can't go in there and say, what just done?
I think
that was shit. Start again.
Well, we're in the audition period, I think, they're used to rejection. There are a lot of them are actors. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're used to being told and directed and all that. So I think it's quite easy to be able to say, okay, love this bit, but the other bit, could you just work on it, or could you just make it a little bit this and that? And I think the more direction you actually give them, the more helpful it is for them. Because then you don't have to do that back and forth, because they get it quite quick. The
narrator I'm working with at the moment she is insanely talented, and every single time before she does a book, she asks me, right, I want a full character profile. So before she even gives me the first 15 minutes, I tell her everything about the characters, how I envision them, how I hear them, and then she'll come back with something, and 90% of the time she's absolutely spot on. And I think that's the only way to do it, because if I suppose if they don't know what you're expecting, they're going to go along with it and come up with something completely different.
Yeah, exactly. It's like sometimes some of the sort of side characters are more fun, because I tend to be, if I haven't really, sort of described them too much in the book, I'm kind of like, have some fun with them. Just make it up, and some of the accents that come back are quite funny. Do you know what I mean? You're like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that one, but I quite like it. So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's fun. I need to get my head back into being focused on organising them, because again, it's quite a lot of work, even as an author, isn't it? Sitting there, you sort of send it all out, and it's like, okay, you've done the whole audition part, which takes time, and then you've got your narrator, and they're all sorted, and off they go for a couple of weeks, months, however long you've organised, and then it all comes back, and you're like, oh no, now I've got to sit and listen to it.
Yeah, that's the part I struggle with the most.
It's just time consuming, and also it's like, oh my god, I wrote that. Oh my god, they're going to do a sex scene. Oh no,
I've never been more embarrassed in my life than hearing my own words and sex scene played back to me. I sit there and say, what the fuck is happening? This is wrong. You should listen to this. It's so embarrassing.
Can I just say we love it, so thanks.
The first time a narrator, I'd say shouted, but the volume was too loud, said pussy over in my living room. I was like, oh my god, I can't. No, stop. No, I can't.
Love it.
Just went, no.
Oh dear. But it's that one thing where you can't pass it off to an editor, you can't pass it off to somebody else to listen to, because it's your voice, and you've got to hear it, and it's time consuming, I think, is the problem for me. And it's not like I don't have time, I'm not in the place to make time for it.
Yeah.
I'm too busy living my best life. I'm busy. I've got stuff to do. I'm out. I'm going somewhere. I'm meeting someone. I've got a date. I'm not doing it.
You're always out doing something, aren't you? You're always like,
I'm trying. When
you put where you've been, I'm like, where's that? Where have you been now? What?
I just put it up on WhatsApp to my friends sometimes. I'm like, who wants to go and do something? And then there's always someone. There's always someone who's like, yes, do it. And Yeah, I nearly got on a plane.
That's supposed to be Claire. That's probably why I'm so far ahead with my books, is because I live in the middle of nowhere with no one around, so I literally have to work all day.
I think that may well be the solution to it. I just need to have no friends, turn off the phone, and not.
Hang on. Alyson didn't say she didn't have any friends. She just said she lived in a field.
Friends that are like around the corner to go out and do stuff. Keep inviting me out to things like, you know. You go to a comedy club? Yeah, all right.
Oh, it's such a hard life.
Right. How many words have I written today? 4? Yeah, I can do it. Yeah.
Got a bit of work. It's fine. It's fine.
The other day, this is how bad it was. The other day, Sebi, my neighbour next door, he messaged and he went, I've written over 1,000 words today. And I was like, that's awesome. I'd done about 400. To put this into context, Sebi is 6.
Okay.
Come on, Claire. He's slacking.
I was like, I think I might have to pull my finger out now.
Maybe
the 6-year-old next door is outdoing me.
He's outperforming you word-wise.
But I was like, yeah, fair enough, Sebi. Maybe you can come here and be my writing partner.
What you need to judge your work on now, isn't it? It's like, how many you done? Where do I need? Can I stop yet? No, I can't stop yet.
I know. She's so cute. So funny.
I have Monday to Friday and I write 1 chapter a day. So depending on if it's a 30 chapter book, I can get a book done within a month.
Oh wow.
So and then I have the weekends, and I have the weekends free because obviously my wife's home on the weekends. So that's my schedule.
I do similar, but I do 2,000 words a day. But 2,000 words is probably a chapter for me.
So that's the thing. So I usually go between 2,000 and 3,000 a chapter on whatever story. Yeah. So I try to do one a day.
It definitely can be, it is doable to get books out that quickly. I know lots of people sort of say, oh, it's taken me a year. And I'm like, that's great, because that's obviously how you've had to fit it in.
Yeah.
But, we work, this is our full-time job. We don't really have an excuse not to have a book out. It is just slacking off.
It really is. It's just literally, I sit in this chair and sort of wonder and just look outside. That's how I waste a nice bit of my day, and then go, oh shit, I've not written anything. Okay.
I feel like Alyson has it all mapped out and planned out, and Claire's just winging it. She's going along.
I have been winging life for probably about 1984. Yeah, I kind of just woke up one morning and thought, I don't have a plan for this.
What do I do?
I don't have a plan. I've got no clue. I'm just going to wing it, and whatever works. And if it doesn't, I'll take the hit and I'll deal with the heartbreak and I'll just move on. I'll be fine.
I'll write it in a book.
So yeah, I'm just, that's for me. I just can't do it any other way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I see people do that. I plot everything out, and I'm like, I wish I could. I've tried.
I don't plot. I'm a pantser completely when I write.
I get about 2 sticky notes in, and I'm already off. I'm off on a tangent somewhere, and I'm just like,
But don't you love it when you get to the end of a book and you go, fucking hell, that surprised me.
That comes that part. How did I get there?
I didn't see that coming.
And I always have this bit where I get about 3/4 of the way in, and then I'm just stuck, and I'm like, oh, I know where I want them to end up.
Yeah,
I've just got no way of bridging that, and then it takes. I do have to then go off and live and just do something completely different, and then suddenly I'll be sitting in the car or something, and I'm like, oh, I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
just finish it off and fill it in, and then suddenly it's like I'm like, oi, wench, do you want a book to read? And it's like, yeah. And I have to send it off.
Yeah.
That's
I'm usually like, gimme.
Yeah. It's novellas, because novellas are a strange beast, because the timing is so different to a regular novel. You have to cram the same kind of detail and attention in, but in a short amount of time.
Yes.
So right now I've got a few chapters left, and I'm sat there thinking, I don't know if the timing's right. I don't really know I know where I want to end it. I don't quite know how I'm going to get there. into chapters, you know. It's just yeah.
Well, you start off with the idea of it's going to be a novella, and then suddenly you've got a full novel. You just can't stop writing it. You just keep going.
I'm going to be strict with myself. It's not going to happen. I'm going to get this done before I go away on holiday. It's got to be done before I go on holiday.
Yeah, because you are off scuba diving.
I am. I'm going to the Dominican Republic a week today, and I cannot wait. It's going to be the first time I've scuba dived in 2 years. I'm so excited. Wow. But no, last night I went to sleep, and I was obviously having a bit of an anxiety night because I was suddenly worried about getting eaten by sharks.
Just random.
My imagination went a little bit off.
Are there sharks where you're going?
Well, it's the Caribbean, so yeah. I don't know what sharks. I don't know where they are, so I need to have a word with my wife about that. But she's French and doesn't know the meaning of being gentle, so she'll either just go, "Well, yes, there are sharks." What's she talking about? Like, okay.
Suck it up.
It's the tea, Alyson. Okay.
I love that. I love that she's just like, just suck it up. How did you get into scuba diving though? Because that's
through my wife.
Not many people over in England really do scuba diving, do they?
No, completely.
I mean, you can't really see a lot in our sea, though, can you? You know,
I wouldn't trust it in the Solent. Trust me.
Well, so I met my wife, and she was living in Paris at the time and was in a diving club there. And she's like, and I'd always wanted to try it. And she's like, should we just try it? But I waited until we'd moved to the west of France, where the water was a bit nicer than Paris. And we went to a club, and I just tried it one day, and I really enjoyed it. And then we joined that club, and that was it. It was sort of a bit hooked.
Yeah.
And then I worked my way up to level 2 scuba diver, which means that me and my wife can go off on our own. We don't need an instructor or anything like that. And I've just seen some amazing things. We went to Brittany with the club a few years ago, and we scuba dived over a sunken submarine. And you're not allowed to go in the submarine because it's classed as a war grave.
Yeah.
So there's still bodies in there. And as we were diving, so this hulking great thing, it was absolutely amazing. And I came across the periscope, which was still up, and like we just rubbed me, you could see in the glass, and it was really eerie because you was like, somebody was at the bottom of that trying to look for help. You know, it was wow. And then I've been to Corsica, where it's gorgeously warm, and we've been over a bomber. So it's just amazing. And then just diving on coral reefs, that sort of thing. It's just this world away from all the shit, and it's just brilliant.
And have you ever found treasure?
No.
We don't want to do it then.
We'll go to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm saying it's pirates and Caribbean and
pirate ships down there. Yeah.
You've got to find something. And have you added it into a book?
Diving has been diving into my second book. Yeah, absolutely. And that they were all my experiences of diving. My goal for this holiday is I want to see a sea turtle. That's like my one goal in life. I just want to see a sea turtle before they all die on plastic. Well, that's the reality. So I just want to see one and hopefully swim one. Not shark.
I was a bit like that with Barbara Streisand. I just wanted to see her before she died.
Well, she died of plastic.
I'm like with Dolly Parton, actually.
I take that back. I have no idea if Barbara's had any surgery.
Yeah, just be careful.
I was like that with Dolly Parton, but I don't know if I'm ever going to see her live. That makes me sad.
I think these are the experiences I think that do kind of help with your writing, isn't it? Because that sense of excitement that is, it's quite similar to falling in love. It's it's a big dopamine hit, isn't it? To sort of do something that you've been really, really excited about doing.
A lot of my books will always have something I've experienced in them, like the places I've been, travelled, or people I've met, hobbies. Yeah.
Maybe not the sex scenes. Maybe
No,
not the sex scenes.
No, my wife was very clear that I was never ever to write anything that happens in our bedroom about I write in them.
It's so funny how, like, when you meet new people, it's almost like that's one of the first things they think to ask you is, so is that about you then?
I just tell her, I fucking wish, no.
Yeah, do I look like I can swing from the chandeliers like him do? Like, do I look like you can physically pick me up and
Do
fling
you
me
think I
against the
can
wall,
pick you up against that wall? No.
Not happening, you know. And I think to myself, I've dated some lovely women, and I think I still don't know that I could pick them up.
No, you've got to have some fucking upper.
I think I have that strength, and they wasn't skinny, small, like tiny little women. So yeah, I'm just like,
if I tried to do anything like that with my wife, it'd end up in the A&E. It would just be ruined. I'd end up dropping her. She'd get a concussion. It'd be awful.
Maybe that is a scene though that you could put in, because that would be quite humorous. That would be
definitely,
scene, wouldn't it?
Yeah, just
I reckon Crystal could give us plenty of those sort of scenes. I reckon Crystal's got a few A&E stories.
A few.
We'll have to get her on to tell us.
She will happily divulge to the world about her mishaps in the bedroom.
I feel like I need to know who this is now.
Well, Crystal?
Yeah.
She's on Rambling Lesbians, which is the other podcast that.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, she's very funny.
She was actually a reader. She was a reader that I found lives not too far from me. So she's American and her wife is French. And she found one of my books and we ended up messaging. And she told me where she lives, and I was like, "Well, shit, I'm about half an hour away from you." So then we ended up striking up a really good friendship. So yeah, she's a proofreader, editor. So that's her business.
Right.
So she's in the book world as well. So
yeah.
But she's so unapologetically unfiltered. She will tell you her life.
It's brilliant.
Her stories about her wife, her kids. Yeah. Nothing is off limits.
Yeah.
And it's shocking.
And it's funny.
It's funny as hell.
As well. So you're like,
having a conversation where you're just sort of looking at her like, I don't know how to respond to that story.
And you'll come out of nowhere as well. You'll just be your own business and you'll get a message and you're like, oh.
Okay. Okay.
Love it. I love it. I love people like that though. They're so.
I just need a minute to process that, but okay.
Yeah. It's so much fun. And you just like you've actually made my day.
And to be fair, she's had a really interesting life from childhood. Not always great at all, but she's so open about everything. That's what makes it so easy to talk to. And she is very inspiring for stories because you can't help but, think of the nuttiness that has gone on in her life and want to write about it. Yeah.
So if there's any aspiring authors out there who look like they want an editor
or Crystal,
a proofreader, go and find Crystal because she will, if nothing else, entertain you. But she will, she will get your book out there for you.
Yeah.
With some side stories.
With a few side stories added in. But going back to sex scenes and things, it's like, I don't know about you, but I'm quite bored with them. I'm a bit bored writing them. And then
writing them
is like, no, keep going.
It must be difficult to come up with whole new positions, aspects, places.
Yeah, there's only so many times people can gasp into each other's mouths or pant or touch, or, you're just like,
yeah. There's only so many descriptive words, and
I love on Facebook. I love the groups that come up and say list all the words that they hate in sex scenes.
Yeah,
it leaves no words to use afterwards.
No,
but I do find them quite funny.
Exactly, because like the entire sex scenes now will literally be just like, put it there, she said. Okay, then, he said. You know what I mean? Like, there's no. We can't use any words. They've used moist,
I quite like the word moist.
I love the word moist. I love, especially with my friend Elaine. She hates it, so I like to say it to her, bless her. But it is that thing, isn't it? It's like you see it all the time on Facebook with people going, "What word puts you off?" And it's like, do you want us to keep writing or just not? Do you know what I mean? Should we just
Yeah,
stop?
we all
can't
have
please
those-
any of you at half
We
the
all
time.
have those words that give us ick.
Yeah.
We all do.
You just move past it.
But
Just move
yeah.
past it.
You know, but yeah, I am getting to the point where this last one I've written is not, I think it's only a sex scene right at the end. Like, and even then,
and that's all it needed. That is all it needed.
Do I need that? Like, I was a bit like,
When is that book coming out? 'Cause I'm excited to read that.
Yeah, because nobody knows.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps asking me, and I'm like, I don't know.
I don't have a plan. See, I don't have a plan. I just winging it. My original loose plan was that it was going to be my May book.
Okay.
But obviously, because of the drop in sales that we've had, I'm having to rush it forward. So rather than being able to say this will be out on May the 25th, now I'm like, I need that out in April. That's got to be out in April now. So yeah, I don't have a set date because I'm literally winging through the edits now.
Okay.
Thankfully, there wasn't as many as I thought there might be. I was like, oh, thank you. So it's just I'll get that done. They'll go back for a second read through, and then they'll need a proofread. So I'm hoping to have all of that done by the end of next week. Fingers crossed.
It's a good book. It's a very good book. I loved it.
I was just so surprised when you were like, it's better than Scarlet. I was like, she just reread.
And you know how much I love those books.
I know.
I generally was like, oh my God, these characters are amazing. I think it's maybe because they're friends to start with. So they have that banter going on backwards and forwards. And they've been friends for so long that it's that friendship where they can just take the piss out of each other, but they're always next to each other and they're always behind each other and supporting each other. So they've already built all that. And it's like when you're reading it, you can picture like the smirks and the scowls, but they're not scowls. They're just kind of like, oh, you're going to get it in a minute. That kind of.
Yeah.
And I think because that's all building up and then you get to the next part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Claire, you need to pull your fucking finger out because I want to read this book.
Yeah. I did cry in the staff room. I genuinely did start to tear up. I was like, I sent Claire a message and went.
Yeah, you did it, that. There's many one of your books I've sat and cried at.
Yeah. Sorry, really, Claire?
As long as it's a book you're supposed to cry at, that's always good.
Oh, no, yeah. I didn't go, oh, my God, this is shit. How am I going to tell her?
Yeah. Nothing worse if someone says, oh, you made me cry. And I'm like, what?
What? It's a comedy.
I'm like, why are you crying about filth? But yeah, it's I'm pleasantly surprised, and I'm quite excited about the reaction that people are having, because you've posted your review already, and like people are already. I think I've had about 20 new followers. Like, I just, yeah. So so that just proves that actually reviewing really does work. If it's when I say properly reviewed, I don't mean to disrespect people who go on Amazon and write a lovely review. But when you've actually got people who are dedicating their spare time to reading books and talking about them in a social media space, it's massive.
It could be the difference between somebody picking your book up or not. It really can be. Yeah, not so important.
Yeah. Because lots of people may go, oh, I want a book to read, and they go skirting through Amazon or Barnes and Noble or whatever, and they look and they say, oh, there's a review, and they read it, and that's as far as that review ever gets.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas when you do what you do, and other people like you are doing that, you're engaging with people, not just to say, oh, I read this book and this was what it's about, but then people can say to you, oh, well, I've got a question about it, and you can be expanding on it, and you can be excited about it, and you can be enthusiastic, and suddenly there's a buzz about something rather than it just being, oh, there's a new book out.
Yeah. Which is why I'm enjoying being part of more Instagram than Facebook, because Instagram, obviously, I mean, I do get a lot of IMs sort of like asking, they're going to start a book and they know I've already read it, and they're like, am I going to cry at this? Is it? And I'm like, I can't tell you that, but it's like, you're getting to know the other people as well and having a laugh backwards and forwards. Yeah. And then there was a book the other week and I was like, well, it's a bit like Marmite. You're either going to love it or hate it. And she sent a message back saying, I get what you mean. She was going to put it's Marmite, which meant she loved it because she likes Marmite.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you've got that between the readers, you've got that community going on there as well, which is really nice.
So I think that's really cool that you're building trust with readers. Because if they're coming to you, Leah, to say, am I going to like this or not, they obviously value your opinion on the book. So that's really nice.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And it's, and that was why, like, when I was thinking about setting this back up again, it was like, I loved how me, Amanda and Emma worked. Like it was very quirky. We were quite, it was in the middle of COVID. We just didn't give a shit. We were like, whatever. I mean, I
watched your video with you. I think they might be from a certain shop that
I don't know where they're from, to be fair. Somebody bought them for us and I was just like, I'm just going to wear it. But it was very much like that was what that was about. But I thought, we have moved on from COVID and from the lockdown, and things are a little bit more settled, kind of. But I just wanted to be something about that really was, we should be writing, but we're not. And, having another author, but also having something from the reader's perspective was like really important for me. And it was like, and I think, like Ali says, people trust your opinion, and like I trust your opinion because obviously you're my beta reader. You're the only person that reads that book before it goes to the editor. Do you know what I mean?
Wow. Well, now I'm just like,
don't get too big-headed, just you'll be off. Exactly, quite quickly. But you know what I mean? It's like those sort of people are very hard to find, I think, in this world, because I've been doing this now for 8 years, nearly 10 years, and I've done various different kind of beta read options and art reads and things, and they've never quite worked for me. Like I've always ended up with, you'll get 10, 15 people going, I'd love to do it. And you think, so excited, I'm a new author, I'm going to be beta readers. And you send it out and it's only like 2 of them come back with any real substance of what you need. And sometimes it is about being that diplomatic and saying, well, actually, I didn't like that bit, or this character sounds a bit, it's the negative stuff we need to hear. It's no good just blowing smoke up our asses going, that book was amazing. If there's something in it that we really do need to change. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
that's how I usually start my feed off back to you, isn't it? Oh, it's amazing. But what happened with this person? Why is that not happening? And where did that go?
Exactly, because that, you are reading it from the perspective of my audience. So if you're saying that, then I'm going to get loads of reviews saying that. And then that's going to be really like a downer on the book. So if I can fix that before it gets to editing and goes out, then, that's what it's all about. So, I think having the reader's
it's super important for authors to cultivate the right people around them to get the best product out at the end of the day. And it is about the beta readers, the proofreaders, editors. You become like a little team. And it's taken, you've been doing it 10 years. I've been only doing it about 3 now. But it's still, I've only just started to feel like I'm finding the right people to be around and to rely on.
And it's organic as well, because the thing is, you might find you've got this great editor or whatever, but then all of a sudden they're not available for the next book, or they've stopped working, or they're doing something, and you're like, what? I've got to find a new editor, and it's a mad panic. And you kind of go through 3, 4, 5 of them before you maybe get one again that you like, not that you like, but is compatible with how you work. And then you end up, you're like, okay, well, what if I do a bit of this with that one and a bit of that with that one, and then you kind of like pushed it all around. You think it's got to be all covered, and there's still going to be a bloody typo at the end of it. Do you know what I mean? Because how many people have read it? There'll still be somebody pops up and goes, on page 15, there's a typo. You're like, no. Do you know what I mean? It's so frustrating.
I'm always surprised sometimes when I've read a book and it has been released, and I'm like, well, why wasn't that picked up on? Like, I don't know, say the chapter is the character's name, but it's clear it's not the character that is being talked about. And I'm like, why? That's a massive...
Because I think you become blind to it. You're reading the same thing so much, you just become absolutely screen blind to everything.
Well, not so much like the author's doing it, but when it's already been reviewed or checked over, you're like, how did you miss that? Because it's happened a couple of times, and you think, I don't understand how that's not being picked up on. Because, but then, so I'm in another group with Sabrina campaign, but we all bring different things to it. So the way we review it is we can all see each other's feedback. So when we go through it, but I've noticed like one person will spot a lot of grammatic errors more than I would, but I'll spot more like, well, hang on, that's the wrong person's name there, or you know, it's never anything major, but it's just we all seem to have different strengths in what we'll spot and what will work.
And I think that is the way you've got to try and get your team to be, because like you say, for me, grammar is my worst, you know, skill. I don't have it. I grew up in that era where it's that what you write, not how you write it, and so I got taught it. So for me, my editor has to have a very strong grammar, you know, skill set, so that I can 100% say when they bring it back to me, whatever they've told me, if they've told me that's a full stop, that's a comma, I'm not going to argue it, because I don't know. I'm
rubbish at stuff like that.
Tags and I don't know. None of it makes any sense to me. I'm just telling a story. So for me, that editing process has to be spot on with grammar. But then, like you say, then the proofreading, I've got sometimes 2, 3, 4 proofreaders, depending on what I can afford and what I need. Simply because one will pick up all the grammar typos, one will pick up the spelling typos, one will come up with and say, oh, there's a plot issue. You know what I mean? But it's trying to pay all of these people means sometimes you have to be like, I can't afford that third one, or I can't afford this month to do, I'm just going to wing it with one lot of proofreading.
I always, when my books go out to ARC, in all of my emails, I always say, please, if you spot anything, email me and I will change it. Because ARC readers are really good for that, because, you know, they're the readers that are, you know, they're devouring your story, and they will notice, oh, hang on, that's not quite right. And I've found a lot of, you know, 2 or 3 mistakes that have just been missed but have been found because my ARC readers, like I said, oh, I found this.
I just more focused, see, to have it out in time to get my ARC readers. But equally as well, I've tried it in the past, and again, it was that thing of like, people go, oh yeah, I do it, and then they never review it. And
once again, that's trial and error. It's trial and error. I've got like 10 people.
That's frustrating.
I've really limited mine to people I know who are consistent with their reviews. Leah, you are one.
I always panic though. I'm always like, oh my God, did I put the review out? Sometimes I've forgotten to put them on Amazon as well. Like a couple of weeks later, I'm like, shit, forgot to do that. I'm like, quick, run over there and do that.
You'll be getting my ARC today, actually.
Yeah.
I have kept an eye out. I was like, still not there.
It's gonna be sent at 2:00, I believe.
2:00.
Oh, okay then.
She's so organised. She's even got a time.
I know, right? It's like 2:00 your time or 2:00 my time, just so I know.
My time, so it'll be 1:00 your time.
You've only got an hour to wait.
Yeah, but then I've got to go to work later. So.
That is the way it is. And as we have now, we're just about to hit 50 minutes. So I think we were going to try and stick to 45, weren't we? But maybe, you know, we might be 45 to an hour, maybe depending on what we're talking about in future.
How much we're fucking waffling. That's
exactly. It's, you know. But you know, that's the joy of it. It's that kind of, we are raw and unedited, and we're just, this is it. This is what you're going to get, listeners, readers, viewers, whatever format you are doing this in. You will just get us. Probably maybe once a month at the moment, just until we settle down, and maybe we do it if we get more popular. We might do it more often. But you know, we might do a special here and there if we come up with something exciting. But that would be good to get a couple of different authors on, and even some readers maybe as well. Absolutely, we'll
do a special Crystal. That would be very special.
I think we definitely will. I want to get my head around working out how to do all this, because you can have people sitting in the background, and then you can bring them in, and then they can clear off, so they haven't got to be here for the whole 50 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Because some people don't want to do the whole 50 minutes. They just want to do like 5 minutes.
We'll leave you to sort that out, then, Claire.
Yeah, thanks for that. And
you're not doing anything else, are you? So you know.
I'm just thinking I'll just gradually increase my techie skills with the editing, and maybe we'll do some outside broadcasts and things. Maybe like, you know, when we're going to the event in Nottingham, because we're all going to be at Queer the Shelves. If anyone's gonna wants to get a ticket for that, we will all be there. Maybe we'll have a little chat and interview people, record stuff, and we can just merge it into the, you know, we'll do a little thing, and I'll go,
that'd be good.
yeah, and now we're going to hear from blah, blah, blah on their views.
And they've
It's
written
so
blah, blah, blah.
professional.
Seamlessly float in and then out again, and then we're back. Oh, that wasn't that wonderful.
We're on the 5 o'clock news now, are we?
We've got high expectations. Claire.
Whether or not it's going to happen, I'd make no promises. We might get bored of this in 2 weeks and go, no. I don't know. Who knows? But you know, it's there. We're here.
If we can find enough to talk about, really, isn't it?
I think we'll be all right.
I think so.
Anyway,
we're going to struggle.
Bye, everybody, because I'm disconnecting us.
Yeah, I want my dinner now.
All right. See you later.
Yo.